Okay, guys, so today we are going to complete this chapter, and with that, the syllabus of stylistics as well. We are doing vocabulary, okay? And in vocabulary, today we are going to talk about collocation, right? So, now let's see what collocation is actually all about. Now, there are two things when we talk about vocabulary. One is collocation, the other is connotation, right? You must have studied a lot about connotation if you have done semantics or pragmatics, okay? Now, what is collocation? Collocation is a group of words that often go together, okay? It's about the pattern in which the words would go together, and if the words do not go together in that pattern, so we say that either the collocation is loose, or maybe writer has used collocation, different kind of a collocation for different purposes stylistically. So collocation where words do not seem to go together, and I'll give you examples also that might be justified stylistically, okay? The passage that we are going to do shortly has a little different or maybe a weird kind of collocation, and the reason is because the author has used surrealism, okay? We would also talk about what surrealism is, but right now let's have some examples for collocation. For example, when anything gets rotten, right? We have several words for rotting of different things, okay? For instance, you can see on your screens and in your books also. When, the eggs can go rotten or addle, but the eggs cannot go curdle, because curdle is the word for milk and cream, okay? And sour, again, the milk can go sour, but the eggs cannot go sour, right? Similarly, for meat, we use the word rancid, and for bread, cake, biscuit, and air, even vegetables, we use the word stale, okay? Then it is ferret for water and for gas, right? So these words would go together. Your milk gets sour, okay? So your milk seldom gets rotten, okay? Vegetables go rotten. They do not get sour or curdle, right? Similarly, we say fast food. We do not say quick food, okay? We have outlets for fast food. Then we say a quick meal. Meal can be quick, but fast food is a different thing, okay? So quick and fast might seem synonyms, but they collocate differently. They go with different words, right? For instance, train can be fast train. The train cannot be quick, okay? So there are a lot of examples. For instance, you can regret the loss. You cannot cry the loss. You can cry for the loss. You regret for the loss, right? So there are several examples. Now, when sentences and words are properly collocated, we do not even notice, okay? But when there is some disturbance in collocation, then that becomes noticeable, and that becomes an area of stylistics to explore and to find out the reason why an author has used a different kind of collocation, right? Now, the paragraph that we are going to read in a while is here, okay? And before that, we would read this also so that you can have a better understanding of what collocation is all about. So the paragraph that we are going to read shortly, you will find collocation which is not normal and which is not usual in English language, and we are going to justify it through stylistics, and we're going to find out why the author has used such collocation. Okay, as far as you know, what your book says about collocation is that certain words only collocate with, that is, they appear next to certain others, right? And consider the following food terms, all of which contain the meaning, among others, of becoming unfit for human consumption, right? Anything that goes rotten. Okay, for that you can use the word edible, curdle, sour, rancid, stale, fetid, but they go with different things. Okay, we are already done with it. Words collocate when they occur close together in text. Some words very frequently collocate to the extent that they are never found apart. Others very rarely occur together. Words can either collocate in set phrases, in which case they will occur close together, or become the introduction of a topic, almost inevitable, entails the use of the words, in which case they may not be next to each other. Okay, right? So, but they would be around each other. If they are not next to each other, they would be around each other. Okay, now what happens, what is the function of collocation? It actually builds the reader's expectations. Okay, so it triggers strong expectations, and which writer can fulfill or disappoint, right? For instance, baby dash eyes, that means we are expecting a color over here. Okay, so we need to find out which color the writer is going to write here or say, but here we expect a color. Okay, whatever color it would be, but see, baby's dash eyes means some kind of eye or the color of the eye or something like that. So it triggers our expectation. Okay, and when things are happening as expected, it is easy to grasp, it is easy to understand. And when the reading doesn't go with our expectations, so and then it becomes a little difficult. If I give you another example to explain to you what collocation is, if I say that, name any of the singer, for instance, if I say Munazza sings, okay, so you can think that Munazza is a human and she can sing. But if I say that a rat sing or a mouse sing, right? So that doesn't go well, because that these rodents cannot sing. Okay, so that's why we can say that someone is walking. When I say that someone is walking, some human would come to your mind. Okay, so but otherwise, for instance, snakes crawl, babies also crawl, but I cannot say that snake is walking. Okay, because in real life you have never experienced any crawling reptile walking, right? So this is how people study. Okay, or they are studying means Probably I'm talking about humans because other creatures cannot study, right? But if a writer is writing maybe a kind of fiction, or he is using surrealism in his writing, okay, which is where he is trying to mix fiction and reality, then the product would be different. Okay, all these fairy tales that we have been listening to since our childhood are built on these, right? Now, surrealism was basically a movement in art and literature, okay, and it was about creative writing, right? So what it used to do, it would, let or allow the authors to write their imaginations. You know, imaginations need not be logical, right? I wouldn't say those are very much illogical, but those are not factual. Okay, so people who were the followers of surrealism and they were into creative writing, so they uh, they wrote about their their uh, imagination and explore their creative potential of the unconscious mind. Okay, and their writing sometimes could appear irrational as well. Okay, the paragraph that we are going to do in a while, you would see some irrational juxtaposition of images that do not go well with the reality. Okay, so surrealism is just not completely imaginative or creative writing, but in surrealism there is a combination of reality, imagination, and fiction. Okay, so that is how such writing, such creative writing can be justified. Okay. Mazib is saying something. We missed one lecture, so few texts from second chapter are remaining. Okay, Mazib, once we meet on campus, we'll see what did we miss or what anyone else has missed. Okay, so we'll sort it out all together because, of course, some of you were not really able to take the classes regularly. So we'll sort that out. Okay, now let's move to the text. Now what you are required to do in the text is read through text 10, noting the words you expect to find in collocation and those you don't. Okay, so we would see what is our expectations of the text and what is actually happening in the text, right? Can you account for the pattern of expected, unexpected collocation? So we would also try to justify the unexpected collocation. Okay, now it says, it was a banana echo. Now, bananas cannot echo. Voices can echo. So banana, we know that it's a fruit, it cannot echo. So this is an unexpected collocation, right? So right from the beginning, with banana, you can expect eating banana, you can expect peeling banana, you can expect to see banana trees, but you cannot expect banana to echo, right? So this is some unexpected kind of collocation. And the major suddenly stopped. Okay, so major is a human and he can stop. He dismounted from the camel. So the human can be on the camel and he can dismount from the camel. Took 4 snakes from his pocket. Okay, that is possible. Someone can put the snakes in the pocket. Arrange them carefully on the ground by the tall savanna grasses. Place the camel on them. The tired camel mounted it again. Let me add few of your class fellows. Okay, arrange them carefully on the ground by the tall savanna grasses. This can happen. Place the camel on them. Okay. Now, camels cannot be placed on the snake. This tired camel mounted it again and then blinked as the snakes carried along gently man and beast in a kekya crawl, some roller snakes. So, snakes can crawl, right? To avoid the pricking of pineapple stalks. Pineapple has stalks that can prick. The snakes had to move carefully, touching the banana instead. Okay, so snakes can move, right? So it's the collocation is okay. Touching the banana instead, but sometimes forgetting that they were carrying their master and the cheeky camels. Okay, now snakes cannot carry human beings over them. Okay, and snakes cannot carry the camels, right? So for they would suddenly rush after rats and frogs, right? They can rush after rats and frogs, leaving their masters crawling under the camel. And whenever the snakes apologize, now see, um, this word of apologizing or apologize cannot go with the snakes. Snakes cannot apologize, we know that. So this is not the expected collocation of words. Humans can apologize, not the animals. So snake apologized. This is unexpected collocation in a series of supplicatory wriggles. Snakes can wriggle. The major saluted. Major can salute. Below the camel, boof, came the salute, shining in the savannah through the reflective gloves that the major wore now. Major can wear the gloves. Neems, pine, flamboyants, and frangipani bordered the vast outskirt border of bananas, pineapple, oranges, and other fruits. Okay, all of this is, these are the plants or the fruits. So all of those can grow on the outskirts border of bananas and all that, crisscrossing the separate area for carrots, right? So carrots, bananas, oranges, pineapples, pines, neems, right? So they have grown in an area, then that's fine. Okay. So now the unexpected collocation that we found out was, bananas echo, and snakes were forgetting, they were apologizing, right? All of these are the unexpected collocations. The expected ones are, you know, um, crawling of the snakes, snakes rushing after rats and frogs, and then there are name of the fruits together, and then there are name of the plants there. So it talks about the flora, and then there is a major. He salutes, so that's acceptable. He wears gloves, and that is also an expected collocation, right? Now the whole story is a creative writing, okay, a part of author's imagination, who sees a, a human and a camel on the snakes, okay, and they are traveling in savannah, and then there are a lot of fruits and plants around, right? So there is a use of surrealism, a combination of reality and imagination. Okay, it's a kind of a creative writing which can be stylistically justified. The unexpected collocation can stylistically be justified through surrealism, right? So now let's move to the last topic, which is synonyms. Now, synonyms are, we all know that words that are similar in meanings have a relationship of synonymy, and they are called as synonyms. But more importantly, we need to know that there isn't an absolute synonymy between two words. Two words cannot be the same in every sense of the word. What happens is, as we did in collocation also, see, for rotten we have so many words, but all the words cannot be used with everything that is rotten. Okay, so what happens is that words cannot be exactly similar in meaning to one another. Still, they are counted as synonym because they mean the same thing, but by connotation, by reference, they are used differently. Okay, so sometimes they are specific, sometimes they are not specific, all of that. So several words can be used for one thing, but then you know they're they are different by connotation. Okay, and for collocation also they are different. Now, what's the need of using different words with similar meaning? Now, stylistically, you would find out that repetition is not really a good idea. We can find a lot of repetition in this speech. Now, if you will re-listen to this lecture, you'll find a lot of repetition. Okay, which is quite acceptable when it comes to speech. But if you find repetition, not of ideas, but of words, so the text gets boring, and it would not be counted as good writing, and that would show dearth of vocabulary on the part of the author as well, right? So in order to make a text uh, beautiful, in order to make a text, in order to avoid repetition within the writing, writers make use of synonyms, okay, wherever possible. So it shows their good vocabulary also, and through that they can avoid repetition, right? So sometimes they can be general, sometimes they can be specific. Now coming to the task, it's the last text we are doing. Read text 11, noting references to photograph, which forms the center of attention. Comment on the term used and their relationship to each other. Okay. We have 10 minutes to complete this. Okay, text 11. When begins in answer, now what you're supposed to do, we are going to find out words which refer to photograph. Okay, we'll see how many words are there. So the main idea you would be doing by yourself. The references to photograph, I'm telling you, And we are going to comment why so many words are used for a single entity. Text 11. When Biggies, in answer to a call on the intercom, entered the office of his chief, Air Commodore Raymond of the Special Air Section at Scotland Yard, he was greeted with a smile which he knew from experience was not prompted entirely by humor. I'm not much for betting, sir. But I would risk a small wager that what you are going to tell me isn't really funny, he observed as he pulled up a chair. That would depend on how you looked at it, answered the Air Commodore dryly. Serious matters can sometimes provoke an ironical smile. Take a look at this. Okay, this is the photograph. I thought you would like to see it. He pushed across the desk a picture. This is picture, which is used for a photograph. This one is also used for a photograph that had obviously been cut from a newspaper. Biggie studied the photographic reproduction, again used for photograph, for some time without speaking and without change of expression. It showed a group of 7 men standing on a sandy beach with the sea in the background. The subjects were in tropical kit, creased, dirty, shrunken, and generally disreputable. They were hatless and all needed a haircut and a shave. "Recognize anybody?" asked the Air Commodore whimsically. "Of course, our old friend Eric von Stellen, no less. He appears to have slipped into the soup on this occasion without being pushed by me. Do you know any of the others?" "I fancy I have seen one of them before, but not recently, and on the spur of the moment I cannot place him." "Where, may I ask, was the fascinating snapshot taken?" Now, snapshot again is a word used for photograph. "On the coast of northwest Australia." Biggle's eyes opened wide. "Australia, for Pete's sake. Where will the ubiquitous Eric turn up next? What was he doing there?" "That's what I would like to know. At the time the photo," again for the photograph, photo is used, "was taken, he had just come ashore." "What did he say he was doing?" "He said he was, or had been, studying oceanography." Biggie smiled cynically. "Imagine Von Stillen sitting on the seabed watching the winkles and things." "How did the enchanting picture is another word for the photograph, come into your hand?" "It was spotted." "It" refers to the photograph, "by Major Charles of Security Intelligence in a batch of newspaper just in from Australia." Actually, the picture again, the photograph, was in several papers. He thought, "We might like to see it." Biggles pushed the paper back across the desk. "You know, sir, Von Stelton is becoming a nuisance." Right? So many words, uh, references, anaphoric references, this, it, all of these as pronouns also are used for photograph, then picture, photographic reproduction, snapshot, photo. All of these words refer to one single thing, the picture that they found in a newspaper, and it was being shared amongst them and they were talking about it, right? Okay, so um, we have noted down these references, right? As I was reading, I was telling you the words also. Now comment on the terms used and their relationship to each other. Now the terms that are used here are already marked. Okay, what is their relationship? Their relationship is that of referencing, right? Sometimes it is the anaphoric reference that we find out. And sometimes the relationship is that of synonymy, right? Photographic reproduction, picture, snapshot, the photo, all of these are synonym for a photograph. Okay. Now, why this is the relationship between them, and why has the writer used it? The writer has used it to avoid repetition, okay, and to avoid monotony in the writer, right? In order to make the text interesting, um, little putting little variation as far as the vocabulary is concerned, he makes use of different words which are similar in meaning and refer to one single picture, snapshot, photograph, or photographic representation, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so that's it for today's lecture. The time is already, we are going to be disconnected in a while, right? So I'll put this recording. I have started putting the recordings on my YouTube channel, right? I'm trying that all the recordings are there.